Hello, welcome to the Creatives Podcast. My name is Ramzi. I hope you're doing lovely. I hope 2024 was lovely. I hope 2025 is full of challenges, meaningful moments, good people, cool projects, cool endeavors, struggles, because those are the most memorable thing, the struggles. The struggles are more memorable than the glory, is what I'm learning. As uncomfortable as they may be. I have grown a lot in 2025, spiritually, emotionally, physically, financially, professionally. I've grown a lot, and I have learned so much from so many people. So if you are any person that has crossed paths with me on my journey, thank you, because that was a really cool year. I'm going to dive into a little bit of a recap. It's January 4th right now, 2025, quarter century, baby. I'm diving into a recap while it's still fresh on my head because, well, in about 16 hours, I'm getting on a plane and I'm going to the other side of the world again to meet my good friend Swelio, as he has recently moved there. And we are going to be building a new YouTube studio because that is a cornerstone of his operation, and his company is content. So the beauty of content is, with a couple lights and some cameras and some mics, you can do anything anywhere in the world. And it's part of the reason I'm recording right here where I am today, because it's kind of inspired me to be like, hey, I have all this stuff that I deploy for other purposes, so why don't I just use it more for my stuff? And just thought documenting. If you're watching this on video, you can see there's a couple tools in front of me, a couple things I want to just talk about, reflect on, some new stuff that just arrived that I'm going to be testing while I get to Dubai. But this is a continuation, an evolution. The Creatives Podcast, like I said in the past, it will continue going, and high quality audio, high quality video are what I will promise you. Format may vary. Conversation will be meaningful and intentional and thoughtful, and everything else in between is up for exploration. And that is the beauty of this project, because it's liberating as a creative to just talk and, do it differently. Sit on a park bench, sit in my living room, sit in the studio. Speaking of studio, there's some exciting things happening with the studio very soon. So all that to say, 2024 was quite possibly the most epic, the most challenging year of my career, of my life, on a personal level, on a professional level. So let's dive in. I'm going to dive into some of the main projects, some of the things we worked on in 2024. And I'm currently working on a highlight reel, so you're going to see all that super soon. We shot over 150 houses, apartments, condos. Like, I consider a house anything with an address. So some of them were apartments that are single floor, some of them were condos, some of them were mega mansions, some of them were penthouses. So we shot over 150 properties, my team and I, and we traveled to multiple race weekends all across the world. So with the boy Swelio Almeida, who is a racing driver, he was racing in Radical North America Cup, and he got invited to do some cool stuff in Europe in an LMP3 race car, which is a prototype, funky looking thing with a crazy V8 in it. It's mega. Look up LMP3 if you want to know what that looks like, or I'll maybe put a photo here. So I traveled in January to Sebring, Florida. Then I went to Toronto for the Toronto Indie weekend. Then I went to Germany for 13 days. Then I went to California, San Francisco. And then I went to Dubai. Sorry, Dubai was first. Was it? No, California was first in September. And then in November, went to Dubai. And in Dubai, we did radical stuff at the Radical World Finals, Yas Marina Circuit. It's a Formula One Grand Prix circuit. So mega facility, beautiful track, like pristine facility. Amazing people from all over the world. But what's really interesting I found about Dubai is it's a very multicultural place. So you get Europeans, you get people from all over Asia, Middle East. And it's, as a Middle Eastern person, as a Lebanese person, being in a Middle Eastern country that felt so westernized was quite a mindfuck, because the roadways flowed like North America. Everyone spoke English. The convenience was unparalleled, probably beyond what is available here. The convenience is absolutely insane. It is the most dialed in mega metropolis that I've ever experienced in my life. It's clean. There's no homeless people. It's like, it's quite a spectacle. And it's opened up opportunities because it is a land of opportunity. It is a place where businesses thrive and businesses grow and people go to make money and build and push the envelope and the cutting edge of tech. So that was in November. We spent some time there, and I'm going back in 16 hours to Dubai. So, and then after that, went to Indianapolis to wrap up the year, to do some more motorsport stuff at a trade show. So that was the motorsports segment, the real estate segment. And then in the Ottawa-based video productions, which is probably where, I like to push the envelope the most because it's Ottawa, because it's my hometown, because I know a lot of people here. This is the segment of our business where we can really, really, really push things because we can be in environments where we can control the environment. And when I say control the environment, I'm talking about like lighting, audio, actors, story, locations, like different shot types, different crew. We can create anything with the right people. We can create any image, any experience, any on-screen image, or any on-screen experience rather, can be created in Ottawa because this is where we're built. This is where we have the most resources at this current time of recording this. So in that realm, in that segment of our business, we did some commercial video productions, some corporate video productions, interview video productions, aerial cinematography. We got a cinema drone this year. And all of these, like this is just a little sidecar here, but when you buy new equipment, right? Buying equipment's cool, buying new stuff is cool, but then you got to learn how to use it. And you got to learn how to use it, deploy it, and then deploy it reliably, because now you're like, okay, I bought this. This is a 6K full frame camera, which I'm going to talk about in a moment, but this is a new camera, right? We shot a mega corporate ad campaign using this camera. But it's one thing to buy it and then you romanticize things, and usually we buy things based on feelings and experiences and stories. We don't really give a shit about the brand itself. We just care about how it makes us feel or how we perceive that it might make us look. So that's one end of it. But then there's the other actual practical end of when you buy equipment, it's like, oh shit, now I have to use it. And in the last 4 years, being that I've ran my business in a way where I reinvest majority of the money that we make as profit gets put back into infrastructure, people, equipment. There's always something to learn how to use. And I underestimate at times how difficult and time consuming it is to get acquainted with new stuff and then deploy it reliably. I made a pretty major mistake this year. I'm gonna share it. I don't think I've actually shared this publicly yet, but bought the DJI Inspire 3. That was a $35,000 investment all in for the full kit. Learn how to use it. I'm a very experienced drone pilot, but I made a mistake. I clearly made a mistake because I was skipping protocol of our own protocol. So we were, Ryan Dennis, who is an absolute freaking legend. It's been an absolute pleasure to work with Ryan, and I'm not sure if he's editing this, but if he is, hi Ryan. Ryan and I were out on a shoot, and him and I were developing the double operator setup where I fly the drone, he operates the camera, and he's a very skilled AC. So he knows his way around cameras, focusing, camera control, camera building. So he's a great fit for that role, and he's currently the only person trained to work with me on the Inspire. So we're going to be continuing to build that system. But one of our early flights, we were on a film production, and we had to get a shot that required us to be in close proximity to our subject, which means the obstacle sensors, which are there to protect you, were in the way, interfering with what was happening. And I turned them off, and I didn't read the warning. Always read the warning. Always read the warning. Always slow down and take your time, especially when you're doing things with high responsibility. So we got the shot, and little did I know at the time, now I do know, is when you disable the obstacle sensor warnings, the auto landing gear is disabled, and so is the auto slowdown. This is a heavy drone. It weighs about 12 pounds. So when it comes down out of the sky, there's a lot of mass. You got gravity acting as a force on it, and then you got the downwards force of the propeller slowing it down. So it's coming down, it's coming in hot. in every flight I had done before that, the sensors were on. So I didn't realize how much it was auto slowing down. Lo and behold, if you've seen the Inspire 3, you see how the gimbal hangs beneath it and the legs are like up. Check out our latest video on our Pano YouTube channel if you want to see more about that drone. But essentially, the legs were up, the camera was down. I came in for a battery swap, and I came in a hurry because we had limited time because we're working with a film crew. And I flew the drone right into the ground and smashed the camera, like completely snapped the arm of the gimbal. I will say I am very impressed at how well it handled the accident. The damage was a gimbal and propellers. And DJI honored their $5,000 insurance. I sent them the drone. The drone got sent to California. And it's funny because it went to California at the exact same time I was in Sonoma, California, filming the Radical U.S. North American Championship finale with Suelio Almeida and Andrew Fantavong for Suelio Almeida's YouTube channel. So it's funny, the drone was there at the same time as me. But I sent them the drone, sent them the gimbal. 2 weeks later, they sent me back a new drone, a new gimbal, new lens hood. All is well, insurance worth it. So if you're considering buying DJI Care Refresh on any of their high-value items, I highly recommend it. On the lower value items, it may not be as worthwhile because the item itself is not that expensive. And in theory, if you do break it, you can kind of just replace it. That's a risk I'm willing to assume on the lower value items. But any of the drones that exceed like several thousand, that's where I will always be doing that in future with DJI because apparently I'm an advocate for them now. Not that I want it to be. I just own a lot of their products. And I want to talk about a new product I just bought by DJI. One sec. I'm going to have a sip of this coffee. Okay. So commercial production, that was the aerial cinematography side. Beyond that mistake, I learned a lot. Ryan learned a lot. Him and I have gotten like so good at like pulling up to a location, deploying the drone with proper preparation, with proper paperwork, and capturing the most incredible images ever. It's freaking mind-blowing. It's an incredible opportunity. We made a whole video about like this and why it's so cool. As you can tell, my enthusiasm towards this is infinite. And currently, you know, it's dead of winter in Canada. It's cold, it's dark, and we're busy with other projects. So we're kind of resetting for the year. Drone operations have slowed down at this time of year because you literally can't feel your fingers when you operate a controller when it's minus 20 outside. And batteries don't like cold very much. So part of it is safety. Part of it is we're busy. So we're doing other things and really cool things. So aerial cinematography, real estate, motorsports were huge in 2024. Commercial production was the last one. We did multiple commercial productions for a couple of companies, whether they were corporate branding videos, like video profiles where we're doing like interviews, B-roll, we're getting to know a person for a new role that they're doing or a new role in a new company. We did a couple of commercials. We did multiple commercials for television, which were like informative talking head style commercials. And then we did some more like narrative style commercials. We did one for a Porsche inspired racing simulator where we had literally a $500,000 Porsche as our prop. And we used it to like kind of showcase the merging of worlds between the real car and the simulator because simulator tech has gotten so crazy. And my friend Marc-Andre has been dedicated literally the last decade to developing simulators and building the best simulators on the market, hands down, as a racing driver. And as many other racing drivers have said, like, this is not, we're not just saying this because he's our friend. These are crazy sims. And there's a big reason why a lot of things are happening, has a lot to do with that segment. And we'll get more into that as the year goes on. Things will continue in that realm. But so we did a really cool commercial with the Porsche simulator. Again, we pushed lighting boundaries. We pushed crew boundaries. As a producer myself, I learned so much about managing budgets, managing larger teams, managing deliverables, creating actual storyboards and shot lists and location scouts. That's a huge takeaway from 2024, actually. Location scouting and tech scouting are so freaking valuable when it comes to commercial production because you just can't expect to show up to a location and know what to do on the first day. So beyond that Porsche commercial and like the corporate videos we did some commercials for the World Juniors, the IIHF World Junior Championship, one of the biggest kind of like, I'm going to call it entry level because it's a bunch of guys that are like in their 18 to 20-year-old range. And it's their first start. It's their first opportunity stage to show the world what they can do. And they can play hockey. They're freaking crazy. So this year, 2024, last year, 2024, the World Juniors was hosted in Ottawa, which is our hometown. It's where we live. And one of our very, very valued clients, the Walker Real Estate Group, is an industry leader in the city. They have a pretty large team. They're one of the highest volume real estate teams in the city of Ottawa, if not the highest. And they're just excellent. They're excellent to work with. They saw the opportunity. Jeff Walker, who is a visionary and a pioneer in the local real estate industry and with his marketing endeavors, said, "Hey, Ramzi, the World Juniors coming to Ottawa." I was like, I didn't grow up playing hockey. I grew up around hockey. I know how to skate. I don't know, little outdoor rink activities, but nothing major. World Juniors are coming to Ottawa. I said, okay, cool. He's like, we're going to make some commercials for TV. I said, okay, cool. No problem. We do TV commercials all the time. I was busy and occupied with other things. And I didn't not that I didn't take him seriously. I was just like, okay, no problem. Add it to the queue and let's get to work when the time comes. Because he had told me like months and months in advance. So the time comes. We start getting into it, and I start talking to Cameron Forster, who is a good friend and one of my favorite cinematographers to work with. He starts getting pumped about the idea because he is Canadian. He grew up around this. He knows a lot more about this than I do. And it was really, really cool because at the time it lined up with his kind of journey in the film industry and his work in the film industry because he is very young. Like he's only like 24, 25. So he's just like a sponge. Like he will work at any level of the production because he's eager to learn. And that's what I love about him. He's humble. He's hungry. His technical knowledge is vaster than anyone I know when it comes to like film production, lighting, electrical, like anything. Like it blows my mind. And he's just so nonchalant about it. And he manages and navigates the world in a really unique way, which is why I love working with him. So he was super stoked about the concept. So that ball got rolling. I planted the seed there. We started planting a bunch of seeds, getting the people together. I'm talking to Ryan. We're talking about camera stuff, lens stuff. Ryan took lead on like the building of the camera. I didn't touch the camera once. Ryan, I'm like, Ryan, here's a new camera. Like, figure it out. Video transmission. Here's a 6K full frame. We're going to use these lenses. Go. Built it. Video transmission, director's monitor, first AC monitor. Just like beautiful. Everything was like top notch, dialed in. Like we really, really, really got a amazing, incredible grasp on capturing really, really high quality, beautiful images reliably, which I'm extremely proud of because that took a very, very, very long time. It took hundreds of thousands of dollars of spending on equipment, testing shit, renting stuff to get to this point. So I'm very proud of that accomplishment. Just want to reflect on that. Beyond that, it was time to put our skills to the test. And, going into 2024, one of the biggest challenges that I saw would be a challenge was storytelling. So now that we had dialed in the camera systems and we had the right people, we had the lighting people, we had, all that dialed in, it was time to tell a compelling story. So working with the Walker Real Estate Group, Jeff Walker and the team, we kind of landed on the theme of the dream starts at home. Being that they are a real estate company, they help people buy houses, they help people sell their house. And it's kind of, the business is founded around the home, and the home is where literally everything starts. You wake up in the morning in your bed, in your home, and how your morning starts depicts how your day. So if you win the morning, you win the day. You win the day, you win the week. You win the week, you win the month, you win the month, you win the year. And that will go on forever and ever. But it all starts at home, where you live. So playing on the hockey dream that a lot of Canadians have, or just any dream, the campaign was born. The dream starts at home, no matter how big or small. And this just set us off on, I'm getting goosebumps talking about this. This is beautiful. This set us off on an incredible freaking grind, on journey and adventure of creating 2 30-second high-level, like cinema quality produced commercials that ran on television. We created digital assets, social assets, billboards, bus ads, sweaters. The team went off. We took 11 people. This is the biggest team that I've ever assembled as a producer and like as an operator. It's the biggest team I've ever assembled to make anything. So I'm extremely proud of that. It was, in a way, like, it was extremely difficult and challenging, but being able to lean on everyone was the most beautiful thing. And that is another enormous takeaway of 2024. The power of people leaning on the team. I can't do everything. I'm now coming to a point where I can shut my ego up to be like, no, you're shit at this. Ask someone, pass it off, request their help, ask for their input, ask for their advice, their experience. Almost always, without fail, when I'm struggling with something, I reach out to the team. I reach out to some of the one person on the team, Ryan, Cameron, Felix, Andrew. They have an answer, or they have another question that invokes me to ask another question, and then we'll find the answer. So the power of the team, huge 2024. And then we made 2 beautiful commercials showing nostalgic moments centered around hockey, about the dream, the journey of a kid who, he grows up watching hockey in his room. He's got hockey memorabilia everywhere. We had Anthony Rankin, who is a prop master, art director on Hallmark Christmas movies. He's now a good friend of ours, and he freaking knocked it out of the park. Set design, that's another takeaway. Set design, extremely important. The elements in the frame are so important because now we know how to capture beautiful images. Now it's like, okay, put good stuff in the image. Everything in the frame is curated. Everything in the frame is intentional. Anthony Rankin, shout out to you. Also, shout out to Mathieu Nolette, who was our key grip. Shout out to Nick Lynch, who was our gaffer. Hervey Chateau, second AC. Julian Mamaza, who was a gaffer swing on one of the production days. Shout out to Dhruv, who was our colorist, very talented colorist. He was also our cinematographer on our pickup day. And shout out to Niall Boyd, who was our graphic designer, who did every single graphic for the campaign. And then on the back end, Ryan and I did the post-production. Ryan did the animation, and him and I worked very closely together to kind of pump out the final products, which were like the edited commercials. And shout out to Walker Real Estate Group for literally trusting us with this legacy project. This is probably a once-in-a-lifetime project for Walker Real Estate Group, although now that it's all said and done, I have a funny feeling we're going to do something again in the future, probably even bigger. But this is Jeff's 21st year, I believe, in business, and nothing lasts forever. This is probably a legacy project. This is what he will leave a lasting impression in the industry with. He set the bar for real estate marketing so freaking high that I really don't think anyone's going to come out and raise it anytime soon. And if they do, that means we're just going to have to raise it even further. So I welcome the competition or the collaboration. In any case, more cool things are going to be created. Audience benefits, markets grow, industries get pushed, everyone grows. It's all good. Competition's lovely. So that was kind of that. And then on the personal front, ongoing evolution. There's been a lot of change. There's been a lot of growth. There's been a lot of pain. There's been a lot of victory. Proud of that victory part because holy shit, I worked my ass off for it. I've met so many people in my personal life who have helped me grow and be better. And I'm going to give a shout out to Anthony Bellotti, who started a run club in my neighborhood. And him and I have become friends because he has a really, 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 really cool mindset, and his ability to just unlock potential in himself and in people is inspiring. I started hanging out with him, going to his run club. And since then, I've done a 10-kilometer race. I've done a half marathon. I ran 25 kilometers for the first time. I ran more consistently. I did over 400 kilometers of running in 2024. And coming from a background where I didn't play sports, I didn't grow up playing sports, didn't grow up running. This is major. This is major accomplishments on the personal physical front. And I feel good. I look good, and I'm proud of that. And I encourage you to push your body's limits because it's capable than a lot more than your mind will trick you into thinking. Your body is so freaking strong. I get it. Sometimes shit breaks and it doesn't work. In that case, seek medical help. Most of the time, you're probably dehydrated, hungry, not rested enough. Get all those things in and go run. Get out your freaking front door and go run for as long as you can. And if it doesn't show you any, if you can't make it too far, that's okay. But it's going to show you, it's going to give you a reality check. And that's the reality check I had when I turned 25. Fast forward 3 years later, I'm running distances faster and longer than I ever thought was possible because I shut my brain off and I just moved my body. So that's a really cool journey. I highly encourage that. But again, on the personal front, I moved out. I was living with my parents for my entire life, and I moved out, and now I have my own place. And we had a really good relationship, and I did have a lot of independence living with them. And a big reason why I stayed for so long is because I love my parents, and I knew that once that was over, it was probably over for good. And the risks that you can take while you live at home are like monumental, because if you eat shit on your face and fall to the ground, burn to the ground, have negative dollars in your account, you're not going to die. You're not going to starve, and you're not going to freeze because you got that cushion. So keeping that in mind, leveraging the absolute crap out of that, I took as many risks as possible and built Pano Media to mostly what it is as of going into 2024. And then I decided, okay, it's time to explore. It's time to experience the city in a different way. So I moved right to the heart of Ottawa, and it's been one of the most beautiful experiences I've ever done. That's actually where I am right now. I'm in my house in the middle of Ottawa. And that alone presented me with a multitude of new challenges, new opportunities, new experiences, new thought patterns. And it's been beautiful. It's been hard to run a business, to run a house. And my mother is a very meticulous person, and she raised me to be the same way. So she holds her house to a very high standard. And unfortunately, I follow in her ways. It's not unfortunate. It's actually a good thing to always be super clean and tidy and on top of everything, because then it's way less stressful and your mind works a lot better. So thank you, Mom. I love you. But it can be annoying sometimes when you're just like, you're tired and you still have laundry and dishes to do. I don't have a dishwasher or a microwave where I live. I live in a 123-year-old house. It's fucking cool. I don't think there's ever been this level of technology in this building. So that is cool. That was a fun adventure, and it's still going. And also traveling while being stationed in here is another insane travel. I traveled more than I ever have in 2024, and it was the year I also started living on my own. So putting those together resulted in a lot of really hard days, hard moments, hard things. So that was a good reflection. I feel really good about that. Reflection, because I've a practice that I've been doing a lot, almost every single day in 2024, was walking every day and journaling every day. And just in a world where we're so stimulated and input is at an overload, it's nice to output things, output physical energy by moving, and output mental energy by writing, pencil to paper, writing. And yes, you can do it digitally, but there's something about, the analog experience that's just simple, beautiful, romantic, whatever you want to call it. It just feels better. So that was great. The journaling, the walking, I've grown a lot. I literally am so grateful to everyone involved. My ultimate goal at this time of how I've my ultimate goal in life is to just be the best version of myself I can in every regard: physical, professional, financial, emotional, spiritual, relational, social, all those things. I want to figure out what I'm capable of doing, because it's just fun. It's fun to push, and you surprise yourself and you find new energy in doing that. And I want to inspire enthusiasm and create experiences for people that were not there. I recognize that enthusiasm comes naturally to me because of my curiosity for the world. I'm generally pretty enthusiastic about a lot, and it's very entertaining. I highly recommend shifting your mindset towards enthusiasm, even if it seems like there's nothing to be enthusiastic about. There's always something. So enthusiasm, creating experiences, creating opportunities, that's the goal. That's the ongoing goal for life. Continue pushing the envelope, pushing the boundaries, slowing down, taking one step at a time, one foot in front of the other, breathing more, hydrating more, always hydrating more. It's never hydrated enough. You got to be like this plant behind me, green, flourishing. So that's 2024. I want to just quickly touch on a camera that I think was very like this is a Blackmagic 6K full frame. This camera was built for around $5,000 Canadian. What this camera can do is nuts. The aspect ratio and the resolution that it shoots for the price that it costs and the lens options that are available to it is unmatched. You have the legendary PL, the REPL mount. And if you don't know what that is, it's the cinema industry standard lens mount type. So when you want to go and rent really expensive $40,000 lenses, $50,000 lenses, they're all PL mounts, and the image is mostly made in the lens. That's where the juiciness comes, the character, the light characteristics, the shadow roll. Like, it all comes mostly from the lens. So I wanted Panomedia to have a camera in-house that had this lens mount type. Typically, buying cameras with this lens mount type, they're generally more expensive. Blackmagic took the pocket format, which is this like plastic body, weird looking DSLR thing, and they put a Leica L mount on it. One of the best image sensors I've ever used. Made it extremely cheap because they're built cheap. That's the reality. They're built out of plastic and they look weird. The shape is weird. They're not like cool like a red. They're not like metal with skulls on them and whatever the fucking carbon fiber. Like they look like a camera. But this is where the opportunity lies, because it unlocks potential, because you can now create beautiful images. You can now go to places like Origin Camera Rental or in other cities that look into whatever film rental spots are available. That's just in Ottawa, Origin Camera Rental. And you can rent a $100,000 lens set, which it's unrealistic to buy that because that's a lot of money to spend on lenses, which you're not going to use all the time. So by having the camera in-house, around $5,000 to build it out, not counting like video transmission and other stuff, monitors, that doesn't count. That was nuts. And we shot the World Juniors commercials using this camera in 3x2. We did almost 1,300 gigabytes of data because the files are enormous. But the 3x2 aspect ratio, there is a beautiful 9x16 full height clip inside the 3x2. That was mega. Highly recommend. There's also the Pixis, which looks a little cooler, but it's double the price. So anyone looking to get into cine cams, Blackmagic, don't sleep on them. It's a missed opportunity if you want to get in the cinecam world. There's no autofocus, there's no stabilization, but you don't need that because you're in the cinema world. Don't let the internet tell you otherwise. Couple plans for 2025. Midnight Hour Studios, Panomedia. That was a handshake if you're just listening to this. Partnership. We're moving in officially and permanently into Midnight Hour Studios at where we've been recording this podcast. Panomedia will be HQ'd there. We'll be setting up productions. We'll be doing YouTube content. It'll be a hub where we can rub shoulders, pre-production, post-production, anything and everything around the process. We're going to be doing it out of there and also working remotely from laptops as we travel around. So that's coming up. That's huge. I got big plans with Suelio Almeida. His business is growing. His business is booming, and we are continuing to support him on the technical front. So that's exciting, and I'm really stoked about that. I'm going to Dubai tomorrow, and then we're going to Florida, and then we have 11 races across the USA in 2025. We're racing a Hyundai Elantra N TCR car in the IMSA Michelin Pilot Cup Challenge. That's TCR cars. Those are front-wheel drive, factory-built homologation cars. They race with GT4 cars like Porsches, Supras. Sure, there's other stuff. It's multi-class racing. It's probably one of the biggest stages of racing in USA. That's going to be crazy. We're going to be deploying some new tools like this DJI Osmo Pocket 3. This literally came in yesterday. I'm bringing it to Dubai to do some testing. I have a friend there with a really cool car, and we're going to be doing some rolling shots. So we got the Osmo Pocket 3 and the Mov Max. I forgot the name of it, but this springy arm thing that dampens the up and down axes, and then the 3-axis gimbal. So we have 4 axes of stabilization essentially with this kit. Freaking stoked on this because this is an opportunity that only became available in the last year with a new tech. This is a $1,500 kit, less. It's actually like $1,300 Canadian dollars. And with it, you can capture 4K rollers with one person. You don't need a crew. You don't need a bunch of stuff. We're going to see how it goes. Hopefully the suction caps are strong enough. We got more ads coming. We got more team development coming, more back-end development on the way. Aerial cinematography is going to be popping off this year. We're going to be doing cool stuff in the motorsports realm. We're going to be doing cool stuff in the film industry. We have a movie coming up in a couple weeks that we're going to be doing, and it's going to be wild. We're going to document as much as we can. My goal is to continue to bring you a really, really cool experience from wherever you're watching this, inspire enthusiasm, show you what's possible with a camera, with the right mindset, the right people, and just creativity. So key takeaway from 2024, repetition breeds greatness. Do things over and over and over again. And when you think you've done them enough, do them 50 more times until you're so good at it that you stand out. So that's it. I'm wrapping this up because the battery's about to die on this camera and I don't want to lose this recording. I gotta go see my cousin Rami before I head off to finish my packing and get on a plane, go to the desert. I love you. Thank you, every single person in my life who has supported me up to this point and is continuing to be in my life. Thank you. My enthusiasm is for the sharing forever and ever and ever. If you ever want to chat about camera stuff, drop me a line, drop me a message. The Creatives Podcast will live on. My good friend Ryan Antoa is coming back to Ottawa from Waterloo. That's like 6 hours away. He's coming back in Feb. We're going to sit down. We're going to record. I'm going to get Swelio on here because I really need to have a conversation with him, even though him and I have thousands of conversations all the time. We've never had one on record. So I want to do that. We're going to do that next week, hopefully. And we're going to keep building. So I'm going to crush this coffee. I'm going to finish my packing. I'm going to back up this footage. I'm going to work on it while I'm flying. Thank you for joining me. This is the Creatives Podcast. We explore creativity through conversation. This has been a really, really valuable reflection of 2024, kind of like a sight setting for 2025. I encourage you to do the same. Write down your lessons from 2024, plans for 2025, dream big. Don't have ambiguous goals. Have actual like concrete goals. Don't say I want to be rich. Don't say I want to be successful. Define what that means to you specifically. Success and richness and wealth are subjective. You want to be rich? How much is rich? Is it 10 million, 50 million? Is it 50,000? Whatever it is, define it, write it down. Whatever goals you have, write them down. Throw away ambiguous, vague goals and make concrete goals. That way you know if your day-to-day actions are moving you closer or further away because you have a destination. That's my insight. I'm getting pumped talking about this. I'm going to go wrap up my day. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you, Ryan Dennis, for being an enormous part of Pano Media and the Creatives Podcast. You're a rock star, and we're going to continue doing some really cool stuff together. Thank you to my family, my friends, always supporting me. I look forward to interviewing new people on this podcast in 2025 and spark a conversation about creativity with someone in your life. Spark a convo, record it or don't, but just sit down and chat. Throw the phone away. Have a conversation. That's it for today. It's January 5th, 2025. Let's get it. This is going to be a wild year. I'll see you on the next episode. Goodbye for now.